Good day, and thank you for joining us for our corporation's annual review of activities for the period April 1st, 2020 to March 31st, 2021. My name is Gary O'Brien. I am the chair of Marine Atlantic's Board of Directors. I would like to begin our session today by acknowledging that Marine Atlantic operates its service on the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq peoples and the island of Undahumguk, the unceded traditional territory of the Beothuk and the Mi'kmaq peoples. Our session today is designed to place the health and safety of those participating as our top priority while also providing everyone an opportunity to participate. I am pleased to be streaming this review of activities, providing individuals an opportunity to join us and submit their questions virtually. We are also providing for a limited audience on location, and we'll be placing a copy of the presentation on our YouTube channel once the session is completed. Today's event is being simultaneously translated and presented in both French and English. Following my remarks, you will also hear from Murray Hupman, President and CEO, and Shawn Leamon, Vice President of Finance. There will then be a virtual question and answer session where you will have an opportunity to ask questions. I would also like to recognize the ongoing efforts and contributions of my Board of Directors colleagues for their experience, dedication, and commitment to Marine Atlantic. I would also like to recognize the board for their leadership and guidance in all corporations' activities. The team includes Carla Arsenault, Janie Bussey, John Butler, Brent Chaffee, Owen Fitzgerald, Lynn Kendall, Craig Priddle, and Anne Margaret White. Together, we are committed to Marine Atlantic being a progressive transportation system that people trust to deliver. Marine Atlantic provides an essential, constitutionally mandated transportation link between Newfoundland and Labrador and Nova Scotia. Our fleet consists of four ice-class vessels: the MV Leif Erikson, the MV Blue Petite, the MV Highlanders, and the MV Atlantic Vision. These vessels serve two customer segments: commercial freight and passenger. Commercial customers comprise of approximately 2/3 of our business and remained steady throughout the year. Passenger traffic makes us approximately 1/3 of our business and is most prevalent during the summer months. Marine Atlantic provides the only daily ferry service connecting the island of Newfoundland to Nova Scotia. We transport hundreds of thousands of vehicles and passengers each year, as well as many of the goods that are used and consumed in Newfoundland and Labrador each day. Marine Atlantic is a federal crown corporation reporting to the Minister of Transport, Canada. The organization receives annual operating subsidies to deliver this service. Like many ferry transportation providers, we transported a significantly lower than normal level of passengers during the year as we were heavily impacted by public health protocols related to COVID-19. During our 2021 fiscal year, we transported approximately 140,000 passengers, 50,000 passenger vehicles, 90,000 commercial vehicles. This represents a decrease of 50% in passenger traffic compared to a typical year. This substantial reduction in passenger traffic required us to adapt quickly. Throughout the year, necessary tough decisions were implemented to operate within budget and to position the organization for a return to better times. These measures will be outlined during today's session. I wish I could say that COVID-19 is behind us, but unfortunately, the impacts of this global pandemic continue to impact our organization, our employees, and our customers throughout the pandemic. Our decision-making processes having continued to be guided by two key principles: protecting the health and safety of our customers and employees, and maintaining our essential ferry service. This resulted in many operational changes, but we feel, and public health officials have confirmed, that our strict measures were successful in achieving these principles throughout the year. President and CEO Murray Hupman will provide additional information on these measures in a few minutes. I would like to take this opportunity to recognize all our employees who have been so dedicated, courageous, and resilient throughout the pandemic. It is through their daily efforts and living our corporate values that the essential ferry service remained in operation and the critical supply chain continued. While other parts of society were shut down during the second and third waves of the pandemic. I would also like to acknowledge and thank the Government of Canada for their support during this difficult year, as well as public health officials in the provinces of Newfoundland and Labrador and Nova Scotia. Their advice was a critical part of our decision-making process. While COVID-19 influenced everything during the year, I am pleased to share that we move forward with several strategic initiatives. Our greatest priority is protecting the health, safety, and security of our customers and employees and protecting the environment in which we operate. Our policies and procedures are designed with these principles in mind. With new programs and training initiatives introduced during the year to help us meet our targets. We continue to move forward with the procurement of a new vessel for our service. Like our existing fleet, the new vessel will be a RoPac design with the ability to carry commercial freight and offer passenger amenities. Marine Atlantic will enter a charter agreement with the successful proponent for a period of 60 months, with an option to purchase the vessel at the end of the agreement. This new vessel is expected to be delivered in 2024. We received approval to construct a new administration building in Port aux Basques, a very positive initiative for our employees and operations to help address space and infrastructure challenges. The building is expected to be ready for occupancy in fiscal year 2023-2024. Preliminary planning began for navigational improvements to the Port aux Basques harbor to enhance the service reliability of our vessels and lessen the impact of weather events. This preliminary work will ensure that the project is shovel-ready in the event we get approval from the Government of Canada to proceed. Over the past couple of years, we have placed a greater focus on innovation with the development of an innovation strategy. The goal is to develop creative approaches enabling us to best meet the needs of our customers and stakeholders. Innovation generates new ideas that develops a progressive organizational culture promoting greater efficiency, process improvement, and modernization to enhance the overall customer experience. We continue our journey towards becoming a more diverse and inclusive organization. That has helped us to remove systemic barriers and enable us to become an employer and supplier partner that better reflects the diverse population we serve. We understand that unconscious bias exists and are committed to assessing all aspects of our organization as part of our continuous improvement around diversity and inclusion. Through these efforts, our focus is to meet the high levels of trust expected by our stakeholders and customers. We know we are making a positive impact. Approximately 90% of customers stated that our response to the pandemic was very good, with the same number of people stating that they felt very safe when traveling with us. We are also receiving positive feedback from our stakeholder outreach activities regarding our overall service performance. COVID-19 remains a reality, and we know there are still challenges to overcome in the months ahead. We are committed to partnering with our stakeholders as we choose the best path forward. Like everyone, we are looking forward to a more positive time ahead. Through our ongoing collaboration and work with the executive team at Marine Atlantic, we will continue our focus on an efficient, reliable, and cost-effective ferry service. We will be ready to meet the needs of our customer, stakeholders, government, and community partners through a strong and dedicated service. Thank you.
Good day. My name is Murray Hupman, President and CEO of Marine Atlantic, and I am pleased to share with you today an update of our activities for the 2020-21 fiscal year. This past year was challenging for all of us, regardless of where we live. It was especially difficult for employees on the front lines who were responsible for keeping our organization's services and supply chains operating. As CEO, I am very proud of the dedicated and committed employees of Marine Atlantic who, through all the uncertainty of COVID-19, went above and beyond to make sure our service continued. They were committed to protecting the health and safety of their colleagues and all those who traveled with us. They adopted new processes, shifted when change was needed, and were steadfast in their commitment to serving our customers. Their efforts were once again demonstrated the excellence of our team. Despite the challenges presented by the pandemic, our employees kept working, maintaining the flow of goods between Newfoundland and Labrador and Nova Scotia. For that and everything else they do each and every day, I would like to say thank you. I would also like to highlight the commitment of our customers in doing their part in protecting against the spread of the virus. It wasn't our normal travel experience, but everyone made the adjustments needed to focus on health and safety. From our perspective, we made the necessary decisions such as enhanced cleaning, reduce passenger limits on vessels in terminals and workplaces, physical distancing protocols at all locations, enhanced communication and screening of customers and employees, isolation measures on the vessels, installation of plexiglass barriers, closure of restaurants, snack bars, lounges, and retail shops, workplace closure and re-entry policies, and enhanced employee health assistance and programs. Guided by public health recommendations, these protocols were integral to our success. However, these measures also had an impact on operations, resulting in reduced passengers on each crossing, fewer onboard services, and a temporary reduction in our workforce. Public health measures also meant the suspension of the 2020 summer Argentia service. While we are still responding to the uncertainties around COVID-19, we are planning for better times ahead, and a return to normal operations is on the horizon. In preparation for those better times, we focused on several initiatives throughout the year to continue to position Marine Atlantic for success. Our Chair of the Board of Directors, Gary O'Brien, referenced our key strategic initiatives for the year, including the new vessel and administration building projects. In addition, we continued projects designed to continually improve our day-to-day operations. These included the implementation of a rolling schedule, upgrades to our ticket booths in Port of Basque, a new fuel automation system, updated Canada Labour Code policies and procedures, and strengthening our business processes. Faced with the challenge of COVID-19, our team successfully completed 3 vessel dry docks as part of our vessel preventative maintenance program. We also evolved and enhanced our safety practices and systems through our first virtual emergency management response exercise. Another focus for the organization is diversity and inclusion. We are working to increase awareness and knowledge, become more diverse through our recruitment initiatives, and develop programs that provide an environment where individuals feel safe and valued. During the year, we engaged with external partners representing individuals identifying as women, Aboriginal peoples, visual minorities, persons with disabilities, and 2 SLGBTQ+ through a series of equity, diversity, and inclusion engagement sessions. Our goal is to continue to work with these underrepresented groups to enable us to remove barriers and unconscious bias from our workplace. We are moving closer to our goal of gender equality at all levels of the organization. This is being accomplished through ongoing recruitment and succession planning activities, increased participation in the Leadership Management Development Program, and greater representation on the corporation's senior leadership team. We are continuing our path to reconciliation with Indigenous peoples through education to develop an understanding of respect and inclusion. We are working to develop partnerships with the Mi'kmaq, the Halapu, and the Mi'kmaq First Nations, undertaking recruitment initiatives in Indigenous communities, and launching internal education opportunities such as Truth and Reconciliation awareness sessions to better reflect and understand the cultural priorities of our Indigenous peoples. We are placing a focus on providing a positive, accessible transportation experience for persons with disabilities, regardless of physical or sensory impairments. Our efforts have focused on infrastructure updates, enhanced procedures, and new communications and service offerings to meet the new accessible transportation for persons with disabilities regulations. Visible minorities have faced systemic barriers within Canada. We are committed to identifying and removing these barriers from our service and workplace, including through recruitment and education initiatives. As a supporter of the 2SLGBTQ+ community, we are committed to fostering a culture of acceptance and inclusion. Through our actions, we are working to address past inequities, which will strengthen our team and our overall ferry service. Protecting the health, safety, and security of our customers and employees, and protecting the environment in which we operate is fundamental to everything we do. This has included the establishment of a Healthy Workplace Advisory Committee to provide recommendations on the development of strategies, initiatives, and programs to help us meet and surpass the standards for psychological health and safety in the workplace. We also continued with initiatives as part of our environmental management program. We had launched our Safe Supervisor Training Program and Contractor Management Program. We also continued with initiatives related to the Green Marine Program, including a marine mammal management plan. While we have achieved successes over the past year, we recognize that uncertainties related to COVID-19 remain. We will continue to work with the Government of Canada, public health officials, employees, stakeholders, and customers to provide the safest, most reliable service possible. We will focus on initiatives designed to strengthen our service and prepare for the future ahead. Please rest assured that our efforts will be guided by our continuous commitment to serving our customers. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you for your interest in Marine Atlantic and our activities over the past year. My name is Shawn Leamon, and I am the Vice President of Finance. Today, I will provide an overview of Marine Atlantic's financial results for the fiscal year April 1, 2020 to March 31st, 2021. COVID-19 and public health orders resulted in limited travel to and from Newfoundland and Labrador. This resulted in a very different year for the organization. The seasonal Argentia service was suspended for the year. Onboard meal and retail services were closed, and passenger traffic volumes dropped by over 50%, resulting in a negative impact on revenue generation. Our shareholder, the Government of Canada, recognized the challenges presented to us by COVID-19 and worked with us through the year as we dealt with these circumstances. This included higher funding for operations and approval to reallocate capital funds to our operating budget. At year-end, total expenditures for the organization to provide the ferry service were $219 million. Marine Atlantic does not make a profit and operates on a balanced budget approach. To that end, the funds to cover the cost of providing the ferry service were a combination of revenue generated through user pay and subsidy from the Government of Canada. During the year, $83 million was generated in revenue through user pay, and the Government of Canada provided $135.5 $8.6 million in subsidy. Our cost recovery rate of 55.2% for the year fell short of the 65% cost recovery target set by Transport Canada. Total revenue of $83 million in 2020-2021, excluding gains, was $22.4 million lower than the previous fiscal year. While passenger traffic remained well below normal levels for the year, commercial customer traffic increased by 9%, helping to offset a portion of the decrease in revenue experienced in the passenger and onboard service area. We are attributing the increase in commercial traffic levels to factors such as government stimulus programs, a change in buying behavior to online shopping, an increase in home renovation projects, and increased propane shipments. From an expense perspective, our primary budgeted expenditures for the year included employee wages and benefits, fuel, vessel charter costs, repairs and maintenance, materials, supplies, service costs, insurance, rent, and utilities. Fuel expenses were $13.8 million lower than the previous year. This was a result of a combination of historically low fuel prices due to the global pandemic and less scheduled vessel crossings, resulting in a reduction in fuel consumption. In 2020-2021, there were approximately 130 fewer crossings than the prior year due to a combination of suspension of the Argentia service and reduced demand on the Gulf service. Charter fees were $2.3 million higher than the previous year due to increases in the daily charter rate for the MV Atlantic Vision at the time of renewal. Labor costs were $11.4 million lower than fiscal year 2019-20 due to temporary pandemic-related layoffs. Materials, supplies, and services costs were $600,000 higher than the previous year. This is primarily due to higher software support costs. Repairs and maintenance expenses were $400,000 higher than expected. Dry dockings originally scheduled for spring 2020 were deferred to later in the fiscal year due to the COVID-19 pandemic, resulting in additional maintenance activity. Additionally, costs for parts and services were increased due to COVID-19 safety protocol requirements and challenges with the global supply chain. Insurance, rent, and utilities were $500,000 higher than last year as the industry adjusted to the impacts of the pandemic. For a further breakdown of our revenues and expenditures, we encourage you to review our full financial statements, which are outlined in greater detail in our annual report, available on our website at marineatlantic.ca. I would like to conclude by thanking our shareholder, the Government of Canada, for their continued support, the Board of Directors for their leadership and oversight, and all Marine Atlantic employees for their commitment and dedication in providing a safe and reliable service to the province of Newfoundland and Labrador. Working together, we are continuing to meet the challenges presented to us by COVID-19 and planning for a return to normal operations. Thank you.
Thank you to Murray, Shawn, my board colleagues, and all the staff at Marine Atlantic for their ongoing hard work and commitment. To review more information related to our service, our 2020-2021 annual report is available on our website. Again, thank you for your interest in Marine Atlantic, and please continue to follow the advice of public health officials. Get vaccinated and stay safe.